Warning, this Spoilercast does contain spoilers of current and past movies, books, games, TV shows, and possibly your life. So if you're listening to a show called Spoilercast and you're pissed off that we gave away spoilers, we really don't care. Thanks again and have a wonderful day. Hello, and thank you for listening to another All Tower Media podcast. This is Solaris with the hosting crew here. I help put together and record some of the podcasts. As always, we wish to thank Spellbook Studios for the use of their awesome recording studio. Be sure to check them out and their awesome stuff at spellbook.com. Also, check out D.A. Roberts, author of the Ragnarok Rising series, at darkwaterfiction.com, as well as /D.A. Roberts author on Facebook. If you haven't already, look for Flick Freaks. That's F-L-I-C-K, Freaks, F-R-E-A-K-S, on Facebook and YouTube, as well as Twitter, and as I say, pretty much any social media outlet. They have some awesome podcasts, reaction videos, and gameplay. Last but not least, be sure to check us out at alltowermedia.com, where you can find host bios, links to our other projects, even some swag that you can get, some All Tower Media exclusive stuff. And I'm assuming if you're listening to this podcast, I'm hoping that you've become a fan or will very soon. You can always go over to patreon.com /All Tower Media, become a patron, and actually get exclusive podcasts recorded just for those who wish to donate to the All Tower Media crew. Now, what are those donations for? Well, they're for upgrading our equipment and being able to provide you better and more awesome content. Now, perk up your ear holes, boys and girls, for another All Tower Media podcast recorded in the epic Spellbook Studios.
Hi, and welcome to All Tower Media. This will be Spoilercast. Tonight we're going to be talking about the movie The Witch, as well as other movies pertaining to witches, witchcraft, warlocks.
Other minions of Satan who perform magic.
There you go. That's a good plan. And Jareth, thanks for piping up. I'll start with you.
Hi.
Hi.
Howdy.
Howdy. How did it ho, neighbor, you know? And this is Allie, who's sopping wet because it is pouring like a mother trucker outside.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for mentioning how sopping wet I was, you motherfucker.
From here, you look
cares.
actually either dry or oily.
I'm both.
Oh, that's odd.
Yeah, I know. It was really hard to manage.
I'm sure.
Well,
Took hours of prep.
Because, you know.
Well, you pulled it off fantastically.
Dire Monkey, how are we?
Peachy.
Also a little moist?
Little moist.
All right. Well, that does.
I hope there's somebody out there listening to this and cringing.
That's exactly how I like my my mission control.
So,
a little bit moist on them.
how's things over here?
That's how mission control was at NASA, too, I think.
A little bit moist.
Well, I mean, you spend that much money and that much time, and finally you send that rocket up there. I mean, you gotta feel a little good, right?
Yeah, exactly.
A little damp at the moment.
Speaking of rockets.
So, how are things here at Spellbook Studios?
Things are good. Things are good.
Rapidly approaching April 15th.
We are rapidly approaching April 15th.
Oh, is that the release date of this information?
Yeah, that's
the big news on April 15th.
Well-kept secret?
The well-kept
Something
secret.
up there about April
We
15th.
keep it in a deep, dark well.
That's
Yeah.
true. Now, the other day I was over here for one of your guys' shows, actually, for the first time.
You were.
It was excellent.
Yeah.
So if you all haven't gotten out there and listened to any of the Spellcast stuff, you should, because it is wonderful.
Yep.
Also,
Spellbook.com.
Yeah.
I hear it's a clean podcast, so I imagine it's a pretty big difference from this one.
It is
yeah,
slightly different.
You'd be wise to never ask me to be on it. Then.
I
You
said,
guys don't like the fuck word?
well, I said the word shit one time, and the whole room was like, he's going to have to bleep that.
True story.
Oh, no.
And I did.
He did, yeah. So that happens on occasion.
The price you pay for going to bed with Apple.
Right? Yeah.
Did you read the terms and conditions?
Wait, that's why I have to bleep the...
You have to bleep shit because you fuck apples?
Yeah.
Before the show, though, he was like, that's why I like doing your show so much better, because I can sit here and talk about a turtle fucking a skate, and it's not a big deal.
Not a thing.
You could talk
That's just
about it on
another
the
week.
other one. You just got to be real careful about it.
You use the
There's
word
a lot-
fornication. It's like,
lots of
listen, kids,
That
you're going to...
turtle loved that skate.
Lots of
Fornication.
euphemisms.
Fornication. No. You just say fornication.
When
then
a
you go,
turtle and skate really like each other,
When they fall so deeply in love.
they have a special hug.
and then there's a shovel.
Yeah. Yep.
So tonight we are talking about the movie The Witch, and according to IMDb that we have currently pulled up right now, it says it came out in 2015.
I don't like it because it also shows its release date as February 19th, 2016.
It does.
This is
It's
conflicting info.
so completely weird. I don't understand that. Apparently there is some type of error somewhere because this is not accurate. So Jareth, you actually went with me to see this movie.
Yes.
And Allie, you have not seen it.
No.
And Dire Monkey, you have no desire.
No desire at all.
Why don't you have a desire to see this?
It looks redonkulous.
Rickoculous?
Just that it?
Bucoculous. What? What?
Rickoculous.
Oh, yeah, sure. I thought you said bucoculous.
No.
Halfway through, it just turned into a big Rickroll.
Yeah. I was thinking Japanese porn for a second.
So
Nobody said anything about tentacles.
The premise of it just doesn't appeal to me at all. These type of horror movies that have been coming out lately of this, somebody's possessed, somebody's out in the woods, somebody's whatever, just doesn't appeal to me.
Well, it turns out that the trailer for this is not very effective at displaying what type of movie it is.
Okay.
Because that actually is not at all what this movie is.
Yep.
Oh, well.
Really?
Very much so. I don't think you could explain that any better than that right there.
So is there actually a witch?
There is
Oh, yeah.
actually 100% a witch.
And they
show you the witch in the first 10 minutes.
yeah, straight up go straight to her.
And she straight up murders a baby.
Yep.
Oh.
And bathes in the baby blood.
Oh.
You
She's
got
all
to.
gross and naked.
Now-
When you murder a baby, you got to commit fully and bathe in the blood. Well,
Now-
Yeah.
first things first.
The trailer, or in the trailer that you that I'm sure you've watched,
I have.
the girl's doing peekaboo with the baby.
Yes.
He's the best baby in the world at playing peekaboo.
Because as soon as she like opens up her eyes, he's gone.
Yep.
And she like looks forward, and there's like grass that's kind of like flickering, and then they're up in the distance, further up on this hillside. There's like this tree that's kind of wobbling back and forth. So it suggests that something was like all the
Because
way
the
off in
witch
the
is
woods.
Usain Bolt, and the baby is the first baby ever to win at peekaboo.
Yep.
Actually,
So-
that's already been done.
Winning at peekaboo?
No, just a baby being excellent at peekaboo and actually disappearing. That's actually on another TV show that
Really?
has
What's
to do
that?
with witches.
Bummer.
Charmed. There's an episode where they have some baby that can shimmer out and disappear, and so Piper is playing peekaboo with it to get it away from, I forget what the entity is that's after it, manticores or something like that. That's the name for the species. And yeah, she's trying to get it away, so she's at a distance hiding, and she's playing peekaboo with it. So she goes peek, she goes like this, and then the baby shimmers out and disappears, and then she attacks the bad people, and then the baby comes back, and she's like, "Yay, good job!" So that was actually the first baby to win at peekaboo.
Well,
Weird.
There you go. So with this though,
Everyone should stop playing peekaboo with their babies.
apparently
Because
So-
they really disappear.
yeah. but then the very next scene, it shows the witch there
Totally murdering a baby.
with the baby, right?
I
And
mean,
then,
you don't see the knife like enter the baby, but
Right.
I would
the
hope
baby's laying there. Witch walks up,
she starts getting the knife out, and she's like holding a little runt down.
and then after that, she starts rubbing all her
Well,
nakedness.
no,
and-
she's got that block that's all covered in blood that she keeps like smashing. Remember?
yeah, it's like super jacked up.
So yeah, it's really, really weird. And then of course it
So-
goes back to the family, and they're all
Fucked
broken
up and like,
sad
where the fuck's
because,
my
like,
baby?
Yeah, but they pin it totally on the daughter that lost the baby, and it's her fault,
Well, because how the fuck do you lose a baby in a field when
Yeah.
you're looking at the baby in the field?
right?
She says it's a wolf.
She never once says that.
So yeah, sorry,
They suggest it's a wolf
suggest it's a
because
wolf.
later on she's like, "So it was a wolf? I never said I saw a wolf."
So this movie is being reviewed really well right now.
Just not by us.
Yeah, I don't actually get it. I didn't like
You're
the movie
really
all
not
that
selling me
much.
on it.
No, it's not. I didn't like it.
Okay.
So I would neither call this a horror or a mystery
No.
movie. I didn't.
Thriller?
Suspense.
Thriller.
It's not even really a thriller. There's a lot of aspects about the way they tell the story and a lot of features of the story that are very strange. Kind of the layout. It's more like maybe a disaster movie. Because just stuff keeps happening to them.
Right.
with like character drama elements because stuff's happening to them and how are they responding to it together.
Sure.
As opposed to how are they responding to the event. So like, you milk the cow and blood comes out and the crops fail.
It was a goat.
Yeah, sorry. It's a goat.
Do you know your animals?
No.
You ever played Old MacDonald Had a Farm?
Cow says meow.
Pretty close. But it's better than he did yesterday.
Hey,
So
at least you got the first letter right.
So how do they come together to talk about that? And then
They don't
slowly
really.
kind of fall apart.
Yeah, but they don't really, because Dad and the son end up having a secret against Mom, because he's setting out traps because he's like, look, the crops are dying.
And we need to eat.
We need to eat.
Witch
And-
traps?
No, bear traps. There's just
food traps.
game traps, just wild game traps.
Gotcha.
So he's like, look, we've got to eat. The crops are failing. We're running into issues here. We've got to.
It's almost winter.
We got to be able to sustain. So he took his wife's silver cup, which she got from her father, and traded it for these traps. But he tells his son, he's like, look, you can't tell your mother that I took the silver cup.
And of course, the daughter gets blamed.
the
She's
daughter
like,
who
where's
also
my silver cup?
the
And she's
daughter
like,
who also lost the other baby.
Poor girl.
Gets this
Yeah.
bag hung on her of where you I've seen you messing with that cup before. Where the hell is my cup?
1600s klepto.
And of course the dad in the equation's like, leave her alone. She said she didn't take the cup. All the while he knows
that he sold the cup.
But he's not going to exonerate his daughter.
but he doesn't pipe up because he doesn't. He's going against the mother's wishes about allowing the children off into the woods because they're not supposed to. And
He's going against her wishes and selling her goddamn cup.
Yeah.
right.
right.
So, but the son is supposed to go out in the mornings, in the middle of the night, so because he can't get away from Mom because they're sleeping in the same bed with one another.
Mm-hmm.
He wants the son to go out in the woods to check the traps to bring back food. That's what he's supposed to do. He's like, so you're in on this secret. Well,
So if he mentions that he takes the cup, he has to explain everything and get everybody in trouble.
yup.
Yeah.
So instead, he just keeps his mouth shut. So now you've got 2 marks against the daughter, and she hasn't done anything.
Poor thing. All she did was play peekaboo.
Now, later on, she is pretty wise to the younger brother, who's supposed to be going out and checking the traps. So she gets onto him, which, by the way, the brother's kind of weird because he keeps just gawking at his sister's titties.
Well, again, he's
Targaryens?
He's kind of got nothing else to be looking at.
So, but anyway,
he's a young man, probably 13.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So,
he's at that age.
He's at that age, and
Yeah.
she's the only other female around who isn't actually his mom.
Yeah,
Right.
well, and then the little sister, which would be uber weird.
And she isn't extremely Puritan like the rest of them. There's more than a few times where her laces are slightly undone,
Mm-hmm.
so there's something to be looking at.
Right.
I'm not
Maybe
saying
she likes it.
I'm not saying it's not jacked up. I'm
It's
just
still-
saying,
yeah, it's super
I
weird.
get why that character's doing it.
But while they're sitting here at the water's edge and he's gawking at her, she starts in at him, and they end up getting away from one another. And the other 2 siblings, which are like what,
twins, by the way,
what,
of course.
6 or 7.
Targaryens.
They're
Or no,
little. I mean,
Lannisters.
they're little, right? They're 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're little, they're stupid, they're annoying as shit.
I hate them.
And
I
they
hate
hang
them.
out with a goat named Black Phillip.
They hang out with a goat, a black goat.
The goat talks to them, and nobody is seeing the fucking warning signs.
No one believes them either. They think it's just a stupid game between 2 twin 7-year-olds.
Black Phillip said blah, blah, blah.
Constantly.
Go actually talks in the movie?
We'll get to that. So,
Kind
Yeah,
of.
I really want to see this now.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
So she's sitting here, and of course, one of them comes up and starts basically just razzing her.
Saying, hey, there's a witch out there. You lost the baby to a witch. So she's like, fuck it, I'm the witch. Rah.
So she starts basically screwing around with this one of the 7-year-olds, going, "Well, I'm the witch of the woods."
Because she's trying to scare her into actually obeying her for once.
Yup. And it turns on her at a later point in time in the movie
Of
because
course.
the kids start going, well, she said she's a witch. Because she catches her brother going out to check the traps, and she's like, let me go with you. Well, as they're going out into the woods to check the traps...
Long story short, he loses the horse, the dog gets gutted,
Yep.
he gets abducted by the witch.
because the witch comes out looking all, like, sexified and whatever, and
Yeah,
starts
she's
making
like,
out with him.
check out my bubs. And he's all like, I am enchanted.
I'm going to motorboat the shit out of
There
those
was no
things.
spell needed.
Wow.
Yeah. So she comes back, and kids... baby brother's gone, brother's gone, horse is gone, dog's dead, rifle's missing,
Rifle's gone.
cup's gone,
Cup's gone.
And then
the only food they found is gone.
Yep. So then Dad says, I'm going to go hunting, or I'm going to go find my son. I'm going to be out there tonight. Mom starts to kind of get the daughter back into her good graces, and she's like, let me go outside and put the
Only
goats
because
away.
she starts turning against the dad, like
Exactly,
all the way.
because Dad finally owns up at the fact that he's taken the cup.
It took the son and the horse and the food and
Yeah,
the dog
well,
and everything else to go missing.
he
before
has
he's
to be
like,
fair, they all went missing at once.
Yeah, he
Well,
has.
I know.
He has to explain that he's like, look, I'm the one that told him to go out there.
Yeah.
This is the reason it's gone. She's like, well, why was he out there? Well, he's checking traps. Well, where'd you get the traps from? So he finally owns to it all.
Yeah.
And so Mom's pissed off at Dad.
Yeah.
And so here's the daughter, and she's like, if it pleases you, I'll go out here and put the goats away like I'm supposed to. And she's like,
She's
look,
just trying to get back.
yeah. She's just like, let it fucking be. But it's just downpour rain. So Mom's like, don't worry about it. She's no, it's fine. So she goes outside, and while she's putting the goats away, her brother shows back up, naked as can be,
And totally like witched.
has bite marks all over him, and he's not there.
Wow.
So they put him in bed, and of course,
Well, long story short,
these little these little monster kids, after they're all sitting around them, they come up and they're like, she said she's a witch, and he's obviously hexed, he's cursed, she's a witch. Well, the dad starts into it because they're simple people.
Yeah. But in lieu of actually telling you everything in the movie,
Why not?
What it amounts to ending up is everybody fucking dies.
Everyone.
Okay.
No. Okay, the twins disappear.
There's a question mark there. It's pretty much
Pretty
suggested
sure they
that the
got-
witch ate them.
Yeah, like did some bullshit to them.
The dad gets impaled by Black Phillip.
The fucking goat. The evil fucking goat that the twins had been talking to.
The daughter, who's been at odds with the mother the entire movie,
Ends up-
stabs her mother to death.
Wow.
Because the mother is like, you were going to fuck my husband, my son,
Mom.
and she loses her fucking shit.
Mom loses her mind and is convinced that her son and the baby come back at one point in time,
And then she breastfeeds a crow.
which is actually just chewing her nipple off.
Yeah.
This movie is bizarre beyond belief.
Wow.
So by the end of it, both of the brothers are dead, gone. The twins are missing because Dad locked them and the daughter in a shed with the goats.
Because he thinks that there's a chance that they are all witches.
So he locks them all in there with the goats. Well, then in the middle of the night, the witch actually shows up, eats the goats, and takes the twins. But the daughter actually has a conversation with Black Phillip at one point in time in the
At
movie.
the end of the movie, after
actually-
everyone's dead, she's like, "Fuck it, I've got nothing else." She goes out to the shed and she's like, "Can you
She's
talk?"
like, yeah, do you really talk? You need to answer me. And she's about to give up, and she starts to walk away, and all of a sudden it starts whispering to her.
He's off. The goat's off screen. It's like goat POV at that point.
Yep. And so the goat starts whispering to her. And then, like, in the background behind her, there's some dark silhouetted character that's basically saying, you need to sign your name on this book.
She becomes a witch.
She becomes a
She
witch.
goes
She
out
signs the book of the devil or whatever, and then she goes, strips down naked, and waltzes off into the woods. And there's like 7 or 8 witches all dancing naked around a fire.
Yeah, and then they all float off.
Yeah,
into the
they all
sky?
just kind of and then at the very end of the movie is her floating up the whole length of this tree. That's it. It's so.
So who's the goat?
Is it?
It's
yeah.
the devil.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
was
supposed to
gonna
be the
guess.
devil.
Well, at the very least, the goat as a goat that at some point is manipulated by the devil.
Yes, that's the suggested.
puppet.
Yeah, it's suggested.
Gotcha.
Wow.
The goat father.
Super weird. Super duper weird movie.
So,
Super
I
weird.
saved $10.
I wouldn't say that the movie is scary at all.
There's a few eerie moments where you're like, ugh.
Yeah, at 1 or 2 points, it's eerie. But there are some elements of it that are very good or respectable. There is a solid attempt at authenticity.
Yep.
Throughout, all of the dialogue is of the period, which
Was thick at points.
incredibly thick at points. So it's kind of hard to understand them.
What's the period?
Like late 1500s, early 1600s.
Yeah.
1630s New England.
Well, I was about to say, because they're quite literally at points talking about how they'd like to be home
In
England because they don't want to be here anymore, and they should have never
Did they
left.
say where it takes place in New England?
I think it's in
So is this like
Massachusetts.
a precursor to the Salem witch trials? Is that what they're trying to say?
I don't think so, no. This is just an incident.
Yes.
Because this doesn't take place in any town.
Gotcha.
Well, it does talk about the township that they're first in.
They talk about a plantation that they were in.
That's true.
But I think they're somewhere in Massachusetts. They referred to it as the Commonwealth.
That's true.
Isn't Salem in Massachusetts?
Yes. So this could be potentially related, but the idea is that
If they didn't, it seems like they missed a great opportunity.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
well, there wasn't really a chance for it. The idea wasn't to link it to other things. This
Yeah.
is just like a revelation of an old folktale, essentially,
Who else
or
did
a
it?
series of folktales. A bunch of people
Can you
you
can
probably
you scroll
won't
down?
know.
There you
Curious
go.
to see the cast.
As far as the acting goes,
It's a bad sign when you don't even have pictures on your IMDb page.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Was it William that's the dad?
maybe.
Because that'd be Ralph Innocent? Is that how you
Yeah.
say that?
He killed it.
Oh, hell yeah. he
That
did.
guy was nonstop awesome. He dripped gravitas, and I'm pretty sure he just talks like that all the time.
Yeah, that's him.
So he did a great job.
Kingsman. He's in Kingsman.
But the weird thing is like among the other actors, the mom did pretty good, but everyone else kind of just like they went back and forth between doing really great and like just being like okay, like they were just phoning it in basically. The son in particular was noteworthy of that. Sometimes I was just
That's the daughter.
there were times I was just completely not buying what he was saying.
Yeah.
But other times I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm in. And the authenticity with the witch, she's not.
I never could place whether or not the first one you saw, the really, really, really nasty backside, just because you never really saw her front side, was the same one that takes the older brother.
Well, knowing that there's like 100 of them out there, fucking
Yeah,
knows.
that's the part that I didn't really
I
get.
think it is. I think it is.
Is it
though.
supposed to be suggested that way?
I think so.
Allie, have you watched any other witch movies, TV shows, warlocks, anything
Oh,
of that
absolutely.
nature? What have you seen that's
I have watched Charmed. I got really, really into Witches of East End, and then they canceled after the second season, and that pissed me off because the series or the season finale for season 2 was a major, major cliffhanger. So many fucking questions unanswered.
Yeah.
I recently actually got into, hey, that's Liza.
That's
That's
the
Liza
mother.
Aaron.
That's the mother
Oh,
in
well,
this
then
movie.
I understand why she goes crazy, because she's fucking batshit crazy in Game of Thrones, too.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, that's Aunt
She-
Liza.
Yeah, she is. Isn't
Yeah,
she?
she's fucking. You kidding me? Her kid's what, 10 years old, and he's still on the tit? Come on.
What's the thing? What's the thing with her having things chew on her titties? Anyway, moving on.
But so yeah, I was into Charmed very heavily, Witches of East End. I recently just got into another show that I have yet to see season 2 hit Netflix. I'm waiting for it, called Salem, which is actually set in old, like in the same time period around like the Salem witch trials and everything, or when that really sparked off, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting show. And rather than taking it and trying to play upon the image that the witches are falsely accused, that whole stereotypical story. Oh no, these witches are out for blood. They are out to ruin the community. They are trying to complete what's called their grand rite, which is this long process where they have to kill a certain number of people, then they have to do a performance. They need a special box that has like Satan's blood in it or something, and they have to do this whole
It's like
thing.
becoming a full patch
So it's-
member of certain gangs out in California.
Yeah, so it's about the town, Salem.
Before you can
dealing-
get the next tattoo, you got to go rape 6 people.
Yeah, right? But so it's about the town of Salem and how everybody was doing the witch trials and how that was really starting, and the witches are literally out to take over Salem. Like, and the people
I don't think I've ever heard
will
of that.
surprise you. It keeps cropping up. It's I forget what channel it's on. And the character that plays Mary Sibley, God, she's hot. She's fucking crazy. Seriously.
Jareth, have you seen anything other than this?
Oh, I've seen shitloads.
What's your favorite?
Witches, witchcraft. That's all sort of
That's your thing?
yeah.
Yeah.
This is your thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm into this.
We share
I'm
a
a
thing,
witch.
Jared.
I'm a witch. I've signed the book. No, I'm joking.
Warlock.
He's a warlock, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can be a witch and be a man. Warlock and a witch are two different relationships with the devil.
Not according to the movie Warlock from 1991.
And what do they say in that?
He actually specifies, because it's the warlock having a conversation with a kid just before he ends up,
Killing the kid.
killing the kid and taking his fat and making a flying potion.
Yeah.
Because apparently that's what you do with an unborn child or unbaptized male. Anyway, he's having the conversation with the kid, and he says that he's a warlock, and he's like, "Well, what's a warlock?" And he basically starts explaining. He's like, "So you're like a witch?" He's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "You can't be a witch. Girls are witches." He's like, "Boys can be that too. We're just called warlocks." And he just kind of basically just shrugs off what this kid's saying. And he goes, "Well, then where's your broomstick?" And he's like, "What do I need a broomstick for?" He's like, "Well, don't you have to have a fly? Haven't you ever seen The Wizard of Oz? Don't you have a broomstick to be able to fly?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "What do you
need the fat of an
he's
unbaptized
like,
boy.
He's like, "Well, what do you need to fly?" And he starts laughing as he's pushing this kid on the swing. And then the next thing you know, he's like boiling this stuff in a tin can. And then the next thing you know, he's like flying like fucking Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Excellent movie. I appreciate that movie to no end. I love the fact that Redford's constantly running around chewing on his leather whip and salting the shit out of it because witches don't like salt. So apparently that's a thing.
Salt is a purifying agent.
Yes, it is.
That's
like, but
Supernatural.
That's I was about to say Supernatural does a lot. Supernatural has a different take on witches, though.
They do.
Mainly just hex bags. It's like anybody can be a witch. All you need is a hex bag.
Yep.
That's it. Like, that's their thing.
Well, the first time they're introduced, it implies that just having a hex bag won't matter. You also need to have power granted by a demon. But kind of later on, they're just like, yeah, just hold a hex bag, whatever.
Yeah.
They change their minds.
We're just kind of looking around all over the rooms like, hey, look, hex bag.
And hex bags can be good and other bullshit.
Fucking witches. But that's kind of what it's implied there. But I've noticed a theme between everything that I've been watching, because one part of it was The Witch, the other part of it that I watched 3 movies this week for witches. One of them was The Last Witch Hunter with Vin Diesel.
How much of a travesty was that?
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
I want
It's
to
not.
like...
It's not bad, but it's bad. It's just.
That seems like a movie I would want to like. And damn it, Vin Diesel, I want to like the shit you do. But it's so often just really bad.
Yeah, they're fighting the Witch Queen at the very, very beginning of the movie.
Of Angmar?
And he kills it. He kills it. But as she's dying, she curses him with living forever. Because he's like this whole
Poor little mortal.
This whole tree is burning down around him, and he's pissed off at the fact that her plague has killed his family. And she's like, "You're never going to get out of this." And he's like, "Then we die together." And she harpoons him in the chest, and she's like, "Then you'll live forever. This is your curse." And she binds herself to him. And the big twist of the movie is that she's not actually dead, because as they try to kill her, it starts to kill him. And so the group that he's with, see him as an unstoppable weapon. He lives forever. He can kill and stop anything. So we're going to keep you alive, and all we have to do is, keep the Witch Queen's heart separate from everyone else. Well, there are people. There's a piece that comes.
That seems like a plot we've seen before.
Yeah, it's pretty common. Pretty common. But he, current times, there are 2 divisions of witches. Some of them are good. They abide by the orders of things. The other ones are sitting here wanting for the old ways back whenever the Witch Queen was around. Well, they find out that the heart is still there, so they start taking into action what it is that they need to do to bring her back. And by the end of it, she ends up coming back around, and he ends up working with a witch who ends up helping him.
Of course, buddy cop. Why not?
Yeah, basically. It's different. but more of the same, kind of like we were just talking about a moment ago. But there's a moment in this where he's kind of bebopping along, and there's some kid who finds like gummy bears sitting on the ground that are like the size of a small brick, and
They make those, actually.
Yeah.
You can get those.
they're a real
so
thing.
he starts following these ginormous.
Wait, is that a witch's trap for a kid?
Yeah.
Giant-ass gummy bears?
Yeah.
And
so
then the
they
house
start.
is made out of candy.
Well, they start following the gummy bears into the backyard of this lot, and they find a tree that is just gummy bears aplenty hanging from it. It's a gummy bear tree. That's
That's
exactly
every kid's dream.
Those grow all over the place in Texas.
super normal. Well, this isn't Texas.
There's
this
no
is like
goddamn
New
trees
York.
in Texas. Shut your mouth.
So
Gummy bear trees?
that, you know good and well that the sun is too hot and they would melt.
Yeah, they would. They would be goo trees.
They only sprout in the winter.
So
There's no winter in Texas.
yes, there is.
It snowed in Texas this winter.
I know, but my image of Texas is just this hot, barren wasteland all the time.
And no matter where you go and you buy yourself alcohol, they give you a gun all at the same time.
Red Dead Redemption.
Everybody wears
That's
cowboy hats, and they all
Yep.
have belt buckles that they
Yep.
can smash you in the nose with.
Red Dead
And
Redemption.
Indians are always a problem.
Yeah, that's my image of Texas is Red Dead Redemption. That
adds up. Even though that's set in Mexico for the most part.
that seems
it
right.
starts in Texas and then you go to Mexico. You have to cross that river.
So
You're in both.
The one thing that I've noticed between the movie The Witch, The Last Witch Hunter, Warlock is with every one of these things, at some moment, there's some kid that's in immediate peril of either being devoured by a witch or turned into some type of potion.
Well, yeah, because witches are kind of like historically a representation of fear in general. The idea that your neighbor could be a monster, not a human anymore.
But you'd never know because they look like everybody else.
And they historically preyed first on the weakest in a group, like children. And this is mostly representative of the fact that those are usually the first to go to the things that we don't understand. So disease, or they'd go missing, or all kinds of other things can happen to children, especially back then, that you can't understand or you can't explain. So you send the boogeyman. You say, it was the witch. Mm-hmm. There has to be a witch amongst us, because why else would my son have developed sores and die?
Yeah.
For no apparent reason. So, like, and that's what witches were, was like this force of nature. They were this explanation of all of the bad that can happen to the weakest of us.
So how do you, Jareth, how do you differentiate, because I know good and well that you play certain games like I do, between a witch, a sorcerer, a mage? I know that that some of these things have their own clarifications of different. I'm talking about for someone who might be listening to this, it's like, well, it's just maybe kind of the same thing, but it's really not.
That really depends on the mythology you're working in. In reality, for all intents and purposes, a witch, a warlock, all of them, they might as well be the same goddamn thing.
I think the major difference as far as witches and warlocks versus things like sorcerers and mages would be there's an assumption for witches and warlocks that there's some sort of relationship with the devil or doing the devil's work. I've never heard of a sorcerer or mage that necessarily has a relationship with the devil.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. According to essentially Western mythology, for the most part, Christian mythology.
Yeah.
Anybody who's practicing any sort of spellcraft definitely has that.
It's unnatural.
It's got that whole line in there about thou shalt not suffer a witch to live,
etc., etc. Yes.
Yes, and so on and forth.
So a sorcerer or a mage or whatever the hell they happen to call themselves, a boodly squiddly bob, they're all working with the devil.
New T-shirt.
No.
A boodly squiddly bob.
I don't even know how to spell that. So
We'll figure it out.
Spelled like it sounds.
So the other day I was actually watching Firefly, and there's an episode where Simon and his sister River get captured by some hill folk, and
they think she's a witch because she reads minds.
Because she can read minds, and so they're going to burn her on a stake. Which I was watching that whole thing. I was just the other night, so I'm sitting here going, "This is perfect. Fits right into my episode that's coming up this Sunday." The other movie that I watched was just Dire Monkey, how do you refer to things when they're just god awful terrible movies?
Failed abortion in a garbage dump?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was the movie The Covenant.
Yeah.
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 Hey, I actually found that entertaining.
Why?
Not because it was a good storyline or anything.
Yeah, but you like Gravity.
Shut up. Yes, I did. But I thought it was entertaining just for how bad it was. I don't know.
I think the issue that I took with the movie is the fact that unlike the other week we did our Deadpool episode, and you were very appreciative of the fact that the movie Deadpool found the niche that it was trying to be in, and
it was what it wanted to be, and it stayed
stuck there.
Yeah.
This movie, in my opinion, just does not do that. There are just moments
there were
where
some good graphics.
The Covenant, the
Some of the
Covenant
effects was pretty good.
It didn't really want to know what it wanted to be.
Yeah.
It wanted to be too many things, and it spread itself too thin.
It got a 19 on Metascore.
Note the main bad guy in the Covenant.
The one that comes back and is trying to murder them all because he's addicted to magic.
If I'm not mistaken, turns into Bucky Barnes.
Yes, I believe so. If you scroll down,
Like the
Please.
actor does?
Yes.
Or the character?
The actor ends up playing Bucky Barnes.
Okay, see,
Yeah.
because I was like, whoa, that's
when
a
I
whole
saw that-
new backstory I never
When I
knew.
saw his face, I was like, "Hey, that was the
magic."
Bad. When I saw him in Captain America, I was like, "Hey, that's the bad guy from the Covenant."
He's like, remember how I got this robot arm? Well, I've also got magic, motherfuckers. And he's just like doing spirit fingers.
He's
Yeah,
sitting over here
Sebastian.
going, "Look, here's the deal. We've got the Scarlet Witch. Oh yeah, well we've got Bucky Barnes.
They're on the same side.
And
same team. They're both going to be
same
Avengers.
team, fucker. Same.
I think another crap. What was I
Avengers?
going to say?
What?
Avengers?
Avengers.
No.
Don't do that.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. I think another thing that would differentiate between witches and warlocks versus sorcerers and mages. I think with sorcerers and mages, there's normally a natural ability, whereas witches and warlocks sometimes need to make a pact with the devil to have said abilities.
So it's more demonic.
Yeah. It's more, what's the word? The powers are more bestowed on them rather than just being born into that. Or maybe I'm getting it backwards. I don't know.
I suppose I could see that.
But
There's a lot of instances of sorcerers throughout a lot of different mythologies. Most of them have some form of innate ability,
Right.
But are
well, you still have to practice your craft and hone
there's
it, you know.
in a lot of say Middle Eastern mythologies, there are direct similarities to their ideas of what a sorcerer is to what our witches are. They just make pacts with say jinn instead,
Okay.
or Afridi. But in many cases, those kind of hold similar positions as the idea of demons do in Christian mythology. Now, they're typically seen as more of a neutral party because, jinn just kind of don't really care about humanity. So they'll do stuff.
Unless it's supernatural, then they won't eat you.
Oh, yeah. But that's how supernatural is.
Everything supernatural and supernatural wants to eat you.
Exactly.
Unless it's the Imaginary Friends episode, then it's just fucking weird.
Yeah. So, you could make a pact with a jinn and he'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll give you power. Whatever. And that's based on a weird honor system that Afridi and jinn have. But that's still largely kind of correlates with the idea of like what we see a witch as. Because those typically weren't good people.
No. Which in reality, there's really nothing wrong with them. I mean, in cinema, makes them look horrible. But if you talk to anybody in modern times that claims to be a witch, they're really just a pagan. They practice paganism, which isn't. It's not all about devil worship and blood sacrifices and stuff like that.
Well,
which is really. I really wish my friend Stephanie had been on the show. She would have been perfect.
I find the claim to being a witch very strange.
Yeah.
Since that's a term that's borrowed from elsewhere as a negative term that's been readapted. Like, we're taking it back.
Yeah.
It's weird. Being a Wiccan doesn't necessarily mean you're a witch.
No.
It is a religious practice.
Yeah, I think it's a self-given title, though.
And that's even if they practice spellcraft of some sort, it's not exactly the same.
No, it's not. Well, and I've got a book at home that has a whole bunch of rituals and spells that you can do and things like that, but it's not so much like you're literally trying to cast a spell to have an instantaneous effect. It's more an offering to nature. To try to put what you wish into the world and hope that it comes back. It's very different than just going, poof, you're going to be a frog now.
A newt.
Yeah.
Well, that.
By the way, I think that's what I told Josh to name this episode. She turned me into a newt.
An oot?
A newt?
An oot?
A newt? From the Monty Python.
Yeah. There are also some weird distinctions between kind of the original idea of what a witch was and what a witch has obviously become, which is part of what I did enjoy about the witch. Is these were monsters.
Yeah.
They might have been human once, but they're not.
That's
anymore.
how the witches are in Salem.
Well, with what's kind of cool about, I guess it's the only thing that I really appreciated about the movie is that they weren't shooting lightning bolts and doing all sorts of really, really over the top stuff.
Like they do
for
in Charmed.
the most part. Yeah. They were just people that were just kind of screwed up living out in the woods that may have, up until the last scene where they go floating away. Everything prior to that, you could have just basically said that these are just some messed up, mentally deranged people. It's like The Hills Have Eyes, 1630s edition.
Yeah. I mean, there's a solid chance that with the theme of the movie that the crops are failing because of them.
It's suggested but not directly implied.
Yeah. Some of it. Goat bleeding.
But again, you could still on all of that go off of all naturalistic explanations.
Except for the goat talking.
The witch was inside.
Up to that.
The witch was inside the building with them, and the building remained
It came
locked.
through the ceiling.
There was no indication that the ceiling had been breached.
It's a hovel.
You're a hovel. There would still be light coming through from the moon.
It was nighttime.
From the moon. There's still
It was
moonshine.
raining.
It was not raining.
What movie were you watching?
It wasn't raining then. It had rained the day before.
Doesn't mean it doesn't rain 2 days in a row.
Oh, my God.
Anyway.
Was the sun out when it was raining? Because it probably rained the next day, too.
No, because the next day is whenever the dad came outside
and got
found the
murdered
goat,
by a goat.
Found the goat remains just scattered everywhere with his daughter sleeping on the ground just amidst the carnage.
Yeah.
Ew.
But so
he's like, "What the hell did you do?" And all of a sudden, Black Phillip goes and harpoons him in the side with one of his horns.
Yep, both of his horns actually.
And the next thing you know, he's like, "Son of a bitch!" And he falls. Dad's been chopping lumber the entire movie.
He's been angry because every time bullshit happens, fuck it, I'm chopping wood.
He's standing out there in the rain, hacking wood. The whole movie, and she's like, "That's the only thing you're good at is chopping wood."
He's like, "I'm dropping the wood so I don't chop your face."
And so Black Phillip kills him, and he topples over and hits the lumber stack, and it all just kind of collapses over the top of him.
The goat was
Sometimes
horny.
you just got to take care of your wood.
Beating it.
Okay.
Beat that wood.
But
splitting it down the middle.
There is an idea of witches as kind of this as a natural thing, not like they exist in nature, but they affect nature around them at all times, not by will. It's just their essence bleeds into things.
They could have just salted the field.
Well, that would probably not help the growing of the corn.
Right.
No.
I thought the crop failed.
It was failing.
Yeah. And at this moment,
And
they
it would
still
totally fail if they salted the...
Furthermore, they weren't 100% sure at that moment that there was a witch. So
Yeah, there
they were
wasn't a lot
they're sitting
of
here
time.
going. They're sitting here. I mean, it's what they're only
3-4 days, maybe?
But they've been out there. Don't get me wrong. They got booted. Well, I say they got booted
I think
out.
they've been out like a year. I think they've been gone a year.
They've been out because they show them leaving. They've packed up all their stuff on a little wagon and they're leaving the little township that they're in.
The plantation.
They go out into the middle of nowhere, and then they show them setting up, and then the next
cuts to
thing,
having
they've got a house. They've got like a
new baby.
Yeah.
So why did they get kicked out of the homestead?
His religious beliefs were different.
Yeah. He's basically saying, y'all not doing this God thing right. And they're like, you need to say that you were wrong. And he was like, y'all can suck a bag of dicks. We're leaving.
Classic pilgrim uprising.
Right. So, he's like,
we left England.
You know
we
what?
left you too.
You know what? Screw you people. I'll show you. I'm going to take my whole family and I'm going to march off out here into the wilderness and I'm going to prove you wrong. We'll see who gets to heaven first.
Yeah, well.
He does, because he dies.
He doesn't go to heaven.
The devil murders him with a goat.
Yeah. Death by goat, murder by goat.
Yeah.
That would be a good metal band.
Murder by goat.
Murder by goat. Yes.
Murder goat is also a good one.
Yes. Murder goat.
Murder goat.
Yes. Oh my God. Let's form a metal band.
This is perfect. You can be the backup singer.
Nah.
We have to have Eddie Van Halen on guitar and a Triumphant video first.
Okay.
But we can't have a Triumphant video unless we have Eddie Van Halen on guitar.
Damn, I hate your circular logic.
Yeah, right.
It's Bill and Ted.
I know.
Classics.
Love that movie.
So at what point in time do you have to distinguish the difference between magic and science, I suppose, becomes another one of those fine questions. But with this...
right now, all the time.
Always, yes.
Always be distinguishing between magic and science.
Look at your sorcery.
There's a really good chance it's probably science.
Like right now, the voices you're hearing right now, this isn't science. This is magic.
True.
Dire Monkey, working for Spellbook Studios, has cast a spell.
We are recording all of this on a crystal ball.
Exactly. This
And it's beautiful. The orbs inside are just, mesmerizing.
Don't you have some herbs you need to get back to?
Quit looking at my orbs.
But they're just so pretty.
It's true.
Now, when you say herbs, you mean pot. When you say crystal, you mean meth. And when you say, I don't even remember what you said.
I thought she said orbs.
Yeah, I said orbs.
Oh.
Orbs inside the crystal ball.
Gotcha.
Dumbass.
Yeah.
She means testicles.
God.
So,
No, Dire Monkey meant testicles.
rub a dire monkey.
Rub a Dire Monkey.
Rub a dub a dub. So, Allie, what's your favorite witch movie? Is it the Blair Witch Project?
Ooh.
That was a good one.
No, it's not. It's fun.
I thought it was an interesting take. God, you guys don't like anything that I like. Fuck
Found
all of
footage
you.
is terrible.
It's ridiculous.
No, it was terrible.
I
But you
enjoyed
know
it.
what? I hadn't seen it up until maybe 6 months ago.
Oh.
I'd never seen it. And I thought it was entertaining for what it was.
I saw it in the theater.
Why?
Really?
Because at the time, it was the thing to do. And it just kind of encapsulated the entire school I was in. And, like, everybody was into it at the time. And into it so much that we went to a store late night and got some twigs and some twine and hung up some shit in a friend's tree. Oh. And he missed school the next day because he was freaked the fuck out.
Are you proud of what you've done?
Fuck yeah. That was amazing.
I meant being into that movie. No.
Watching it now, it's like total crap. But back in the, what was it, 98?
Hell, I don't know. Why don't you
Something
Google
like
that? Or IMDb booby that.
IMDb booby that? Well, we're all fucking up worse.
Yeah, so
I was basically not a human being yet, and
in
I still
1999?
I was 9 years old.
All right, fair enough.
I was still sucking at being a person,
I was a senior in high school when this came out.
and I still knew that this movie was like 100% full of shit, and I believed in witches. I was like, no.
Yeah, but it was the first.
Did you like the booger scene?
Yeah, that was my favorite scene. It was the first fake documentary of its type
It was.
come out.
It
And
did start a really terrible trend.
I was
Yeah.
so
if
confused.
you were in high school, a senior in high school, at my school, you would have been totally up this movie's butt, which we all were. Looking back on it, it's pure shit. Yeah, it's a horrible movie, but at the time, it was kind of freaky. This kid that we hung shit up in his tree would stay away from a corner for a year and a half. Be like, wouldn't even like walk around a corner. It's like he just freaked out by corners because Josh standing in the corner at the end.
Yeah.
See, I was in junior high when this came out, and I was raised in a very, very born-again Christian house, so I was not allowed to see
How'd
this.
that work out for you?
How do you think it worked out?
I've been to your house. I know it worked out.
We won't get into my laundry list of horrible bad decisions after I got away from my dad. Anyway, no, this was in junior high when I came out. Very, very sheltered life that I led. So I was very confused the first time somebody parodied that close-up camera shot with the snot coming down out of the nose and the tears. And
On the
everything.
bright side, it's just hilarious by itself.
It is hilarious, but I had no fucking idea where that came from. I'm like, what is it? I don't even remember what the first parody of that was. It's happened in so many
I think
things
it's
now.
fucking. Is it Scary?
I
Movie?
think
the
Scary
first-
Movie.
Yeah, maybe.
I think the first Scary Movie
But,
did
oh
that.
my god, it just confused the fuck out of me.
God, I haven't seen the first Scary Movie in ages.
Yeah.
Me either.
I don't think it would hold water either.
I even think Saturday Night Live did it first because I was still watching Saturday Night Live back then.
Yeah.
And I think they probably spoofed it the week or 2 weeks after it came out.
So I kind of just toss this over home plate here. What is your favorite?
Notice that's his second pitch.
Yeah, I know. I think it would probably have to be Hocus Pocus.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
I know.
I do
I
as
put
well.
a spell on you.
I think my favorite part of that
Yeah.
whole movie is where
Why,
she's.
what was that?
Where,
And no,
I
I
like
was
where-
I
not-
saw it and I can't.
Have
think-
you? It's a friggin' amazing
great
because she's sitting
movie.
here going amok, 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 just punches her in the stomach.
And I am not one of those girls that had a huge crush on Thackeray Banks. I just want to throw that
Okay.
out there right now.
Bette Midler in that?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
she is, and she's fucking fantastic.
And so
Sarah
is
Jessica Parker.
Sarah Jessica Parker before she turned into a skeleton.
She was she was a skeleton in that too.
Well,
They just
yeah.
took her boobs and shoved them way up there.
Well, a little bit.
She looked better than she does now, I think.
No, go back and watch it again. She
Maybe.
did not look good. She was like super pale, and they like darkened the mole on her face.
Yeah,
I
she's
think.
supposed to be a witch.
I know,
Yeah,
it looked
she's-
terrible.
yes.
And then what's the
I
name
love
of the
that
other
movie,
girl,
though.
the bumbling one,
The
dumb
big
one.
fat one?
the big fat one? Yeah, what the hell is that actress's name? I can't remember.
Who the hell knows? I love that movie though.
Oh no, it's a fucking great movie.
I'm gonna throw that one down as my favorite witch.
Really?
movie,
That's
Yeah.
also yours?
100%.
Yeah.
That movie was
Long distance high five.
amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was a great movie.
That was like one of my favorite movies as
There.
a kid.
There you go. Cat, how the fuck do you pronounce that? Najimi?
Well, if he'd stop scrolling.
She hasn't been in much since.
No, not really. Not really at all.
Oh, that movie's a delight.
It's Kathy.
Jimmy.
What?
Cat,
Jimmy.
Not
yeah,
Jimmy.
Najimi.
Dire Monkey, you have a favorite witch or magically charged movie?
Honestly, no.
No?
They're just not mine. Not in my wheelhouse.
Well, maybe.
Probably Blair Witch was the last one I saw.
Yeah. Can you branch out from there? Something that might have witches in it that you enjoyed?
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
All right.
That's my
I'll
largest
take that.
exposure to witchcraft
Okay, I can buy that.
in cinema, if you will.
So if I open up the category like that, is there anything else that you'd like to include, Allie?
Ernest Scared Stupid.
Oh, that's a good movie. It's a great
Wait,
movie.
doesn't it have a troll?
I think
not a
it's
witch?
Trolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're
That
allergic
movie-
to Miak.
The movie actually scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I
The troll under the
Oh,
bed
yeah.
thing, I was like,
Oh,
no, fuck
yeah.
it, I'm out.
Right?
I'm out.
I'm out. Done. Nope.
we have found.
When the goo gets under the...
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
I need to watch that over. again.
watching
We have
it,
it. Come over and watch it with us.
watching it as an actual human being, I'm like, okay, no, this is fine. But when I was a kid, I was like, nope. He's under the goddamn bed, just like I always knew he'd be.
I watched that movie all the time when I was a kid. That was great.
The worst part was, even as a kid, I'd be like, he's going to look under that bed, and it's going to be there. And then it wasn't, and then he was up there with them, and I'm like,
We're out.
For those of you that can't see, Jareth just threw his hands up in the air.
Yep. So we've got the you all. I actually
You didn't ask Jareth what his favorite was, did you?
Jareth tossed in the
that's right.
Hocus Pocus.
Hocus
Okay.
Pocus.
Well, yeah, but he just jumped onto mine. I was going to see if he had a different
He's
answer.
kind of whipped it in there.
I
Giggity.
always whip it in there.
Giggity goo.
God, I knew that was
So
coming.
I actually I like the movie Stardust with
Ooh, that movie's good too.
yeah.
I
With,
don't think I've seen that one.
you
That's
should.
a very underrated film.
It really, really is. I truly appreciated it, and I really liked the notion that they took with the witches because they're tracking down the fallen star
so they can like live forever.
so they can live forever. They have to re-up their immortality deal.
It's interesting that like out of all of the stories that are like all of our favorite, like got these really cartoon version of witches.
Yeah.
I think that probably speaks to why witches have gone the way they have in
yeah, I think so.
because we're like Hocus Pocus, and that's like the cartooniest way to look at witches.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
like-
is.
Yeah.
But it's great.
I'm gonna fly on this vacuum because I don't have a broom available. Like, it's fucking stupid, and I love it.
Doesn't the other one get like a mop or something?
Yo, Sarah Jessica Parker's on a mop, and the fat one's on a on a vacuum.
Yeah.
Bette Midler's the one who actually gets a broom.
Well, of course she does. She's Bette Midler. you don't tell that woman no to anything.
Yeah. But it, Stardust is actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. I do like the fact that they tried to make them the bad guys throughout the whole thing because they are.
They're the bad guys in Hocus Pocus. They turned Thackeray Binks into a goddamn cat for
Which
like
is
200
amazing,
years.
by the way.
I know, that was like one of my favorite
Yeah.
parts.
And the fact that they've got that one kid that they end up waking up and he takes the pocket knife and cuts his mouth open and because it was sewed shut.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember what the circumstances of that were, but they.
God, I need to watch a movie again. I'm gonna do it.
Let's just go have a movie marathon at my place.
We should. I think that's going to be a thing now.
We should have a movie night.
We should.
I love the fact that with all of the movies that are out there that are of this nature, like you were saying, we've picked out basically the most. Well, I mean, you two pick out the most cartoony version of them.
The Stardust Witches are pretty cartoony.
do
They're
you-
like
To a degree. They were still. What?
Witches. The movie. The Kid with Angelica Houston. Witches. How did we not fucking bring that up until just now?
I don't even know what you're talking
I
about.
do love that movie, but
See, that was
Hocus
my-
Pocus I like more.
I got
I
no-
do,
I got
but
nothing.
that was great. Did you ever read the book, though?
Yeah.
Because what they did, the movie adaptation from that book was fan-fucking-tastic.
Never heard of this.
It was so... Okay, you need to
You
go...
need to fucking
this
watch
is your
it
homework
right
tonight.
now.
What
This is your homework.
What is this?
You need to read the book, and then you need to watch the movie and understand...
What, tonight?
Yes.
At least watch the movie tonight.
Absolutely.
See,
It's fantastic. The book really isn't that long.
I do kind of like hearing our favorites though. I do feel a moment of shame. It's like well, like the ones that we picked are like the most modern idea of witches, and they're like actually the witches is slightly less, but the this cartoony Disney monster version of witches, and then like the one film that we've talked about so far, which is the one that we're here to talk
The
about
newest
tonight,
one, the movie,
Witch,
The Witch,
that has
2016.
any sort of authentic view on
We
the
hate.
historical idea of what witches are, and I'm like, nope, fuck it, that was boring as shit.
Well, it kind of made the whole time I was actually watching that, I couldn't help but think if the witches that were out in the woods, they're obviously not native, right?
Like Native Indian,
Right.
Native American. Sorry,
At that point in time. So that means they rode over here as well,
yeah.
which means that back over in England and things of that nature, you've also got something of a witch infestation, and you don't really hear a whole lot about that during that time frame.
Well,
You hear about it more so back during like the Grimm fairy tale time frame and all that good business, and that's more that's not necessarily England though.
well, we don't talk about it as much. It's not as historically flamboyant, so
Right.
to speak.
Well, it's like
but
it's like they had a gap, right? I mean, it's you have the Grimm fairy tale stuff that's going on, and then it's like the next big kickoff for it is over here
The truth is, witch hunting and witch scares throughout the entire Western world have been a common and pretty prolific feature of society up until the early 1900s.
Yeah. Which is scary considering
Right?
The Salem witch trials is just kind of like the last time that we've really stopped to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And that's because like a whole town basically got fucked up over it, potentially. But you didn't talk about it in Europe because it's just kind of something that happened.
Right.
And usually it wasn't
It's like World War II in Germany nowadays. Just don't talk about it.
well, slightly different.
Terrible.
I know.
Terrible.
Slightly the same.
Right.
Well, okay, we're talking about people worshiping Satan and doing, sacrifices versus mass genocide. It's a little different.
We were all out of the country at that point in time. None of us were there.
Yeah,
we don't know what you're talking about.
That's true.
We were all on vacation in Canada. So, we are at about 5 minutes into the episode, and I think that we've covered this topic pretty well this time.
Time for commercials.
No, actually, you know what? One thing I did notice between our show and Spellcast the other day is at one point in time, they actually have, radio magic where he's like, all right, we're going to cut to a commercial real quick here.
Wow.
No, wait. You're doing it wrong. It's just like this. Okay, we're back. And then they insert a commercial there. It's kind of amazing because I listened to it. I was sitting right over there listening to the episode, and then I listened to it after the fact on, actual the computer, listening to it post-production. And so I got to actually listen to the commercial. It's super weird to me.
What was the commercial for?
It's the Infinite Black.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's still, it's where he's sitting here and we're talking, and all of a sudden he's just like... Okay, we're back, and it's like we didn't go anywhere. This is super duper weird. But we don't have commercials. We do all of our stuff right here at the very end, and then
Right.
Josh does his little meme right there at the very beginning, and then we have our little "I love turtles" at the very end because
Oh, God.
Jareth loves turtles.
I don't.
And turtle penis.
Turtle
You know
penis.
what? Ever since I think the first 5 episodes that I was on, you used that soundboard, and now you don't use that soundboard
Ever,
anymore.
never,
It's
ever.
gone.
Yeah, he took it out of here.
What the fuck, man?
Why?
Where are we gonna get our shut the fuck up mic from?
Oh, that's on this one.
Well,
So
I don't know why I haven't noticed up until now that
We just don't have-
months.
Basically, since moving into this room, we haven't had a soundboard.
yeah.
Yeah, it's messed up, man. I miss it.
I need my tablet for other things.
Oh,
So apparently
bigger
you
screen
need
to watch porn on in the bed.
Apparently you need Windows 10 because that's popping up now. But right now we are right here at the very, very end of our episode. You need to make sure you get over to all of our sites, alltowermedia.com, alltowerpodcast.com, which takes you to the exact same site, and you can check out our...
bullshit. The Witches has a 23%. That
Right?
movie's amazing.
I love how he's just seeing this. You get over there, check out our stuff. You can see some of the T-shirts that Jareth has been the inspiration for because he's freaking hysterical.
The Witch has an 89 goddamn %, and The Witches has 23.
You need to make a
Fuck
phone call.
this world.
No.
You need
Do you
to
know
make a phone
why?
call.
Do you know
So,
why? Because all the people that grew up with the witches and appreciate them were around before IMDb was a thing. That's why.
Maybe. So get over, check out our stuff. Get over to spellbook.com. Check out their stuff. Keep an eye out on their forums because every now and then they have
We give away
contests
shit.
and they give away stuff, don't they, Allie?
Yay, giveaway shit! Yay!
This is like your new. That's your job.
That's my
I don't
job.
know if you know that.
Hey, they give away shit, guys.
Hey, pay attention. You go over to spellbook.com. Why? Because they give away stuff. So that's a thing. Get over and check those things out. Definitely want to make sure you make a stop over to Flick Freaks on just about every single social media.
Yeah, they're super active.
Yeah, Andrew stays pretty active over there. He's constantly putting out some new stuff.
Do they have a MySpace?
Probably.
I wouldn't put it past Andrew, honestly. Now, if you haven't already done so, Jareth and I are actually extras. Yes, we're extras
Yes,
in
we're
a
extras.
skit that we had for. He's checking MySpace. This is amazing.
We're going to verify for this.
Holy
for
crap!
you guys right now.
There's a MySpace still works. This
yeah,
is
it does, but
weird.
the format is completely fucked up now.
This is so weird looking. Anyhow, get over and check out their stuff. Every now and then, Andrew puts together skits, and we've been on for a skit. But they definitely go through and they talk about all kinds of TV shows and basically anything in entertainment. So get over there and check them out. You also need to make sure that you get over and check out Darkwater Fiction for D.A. Roberts' books, the Ragnarok Rising series, as well as the Infinite Black's Soul book that they have out, which is Perdition's Frames. And that's,
I think he's working on book 2, actually.
Yep. I actually have a short story that fits mildly into your universe. 7 pages long. I'd like you to read it. Allie read it earlier today.
I did read it.
Nice.
7 pages is not a short story; it's a pamphlet.
Whatever. It's almost 4,000 words long, so kind of counts.
Pamphlet.
Whatever. Anyway.
Leaflet.
Brochure.
Ooh, leaflet. I like that. So I have a leaflet for you, maybe?
I think leaflets are 1 page.
Yeah. God, why are we splitting hairs on this? So get over, check out all of our stuff. Like us, share us, pass us around, all that good stuff.
Just like your prom day. Oh, wait.
No, not your prom day.
Hold us when it's
Ouch.
cold and dark.
But you should also get over to Patreon.com. Check out the All Tower Media's Patreon account. See what kind of perks and things of that nature Josh has put up on there in order to be able to allow us to do this even better than what we currently do.
We get any closer to me shaving my head?
I have not checked it in a while.
Okay. In a while?
A while. Yes.
You put the H before the W.
A while. So, as of right now, Jareth, do you have anything you want to add? Anything you want to say?
Nope.
Maybe something about flick freaks, because you're a flick freaker.
I'm a freak flicker.
Yeah.
No, I think we more or less covered it all.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were pretty thorough.
All right.
Did you forget to mention the surprise announcement coming up?
There's a
Or is
surprise announcement?
Yeah, whatever.
Well, I think we talked about that at the beginning of the episode
we?
for April
Okay.
15th for Spellbook Studios.
Just making sure.
Yeah. It's Dire Monkey, do you have anything further you would like to add or contribute?
I'm out like a boner in sweatpants.
Wow.
Wow. Allie, is there anything further you would like to contribute?
Bob's your uncle.
There you go. All right, boys and girls.
Bye,
This
Internet.
has been our newest episode of Spell... This is not Spellbook,
This
Nope.
is not spelled.
but this is the newest episode of All Tower Media's...
Spoilercast. There you go.
Do the voice, man.
No. Bye, internets.
Bye, Internet.
I love turtles.